Good evening. Welcome back to Allergic to Stupidity. It's been a long day, guys. It's Epiphany. It's January the 6th. I'm putting Christmas away. I always wait till the 6th because for me, Christmas season goes till the 6th. So it's been a long day. And I happened to glance at the clock 15 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago, and I got to get online. So today's little chit chat, sort of short. We've all realized, or we should have all realized by now, that Justin Trudeau has come forward and said he will be stepping down as soon as the Liberal Party has a chance to have a leadership convention. He has also asked the Lieutenant General to close down the House of Commons. There's a special fancy word for it, but basically, any bills on the table at the time are gone. Any motions are gone. And Pierre Poilievre, the Conservative government party, is screaming and yelling about him doing it, about he shouldn't be able to do that. And my comment and somebody else's comment was, Stephen Harper did it 4 times. Like, what's your part? It's on the table for people to do it for a variety of reasons. Now, in this case, I like the fact, A, that he stepped down. I've said it before. He was exhausted. He's tired. People of Canada are finished with him. He looks exhausted. He's been doing this he was elected in 2015 as the being, quote, the prime minister. Remember, he's only the leader of his party. So he's been doing this for almost 10 years as the prime minister of Canada. So he is tired and exhausted. So A, I'm glad he did it for his own health. B, I am happy that he had the House of Commons closed. Yes, it means any bills that are on the table have to be redone, but that's fine. Um, but see, and from my point of view, as somebody who's an adamant voter, is it lets everybody calm down and hopefully get past the tension and the emotions that are raw and start to step back and please look at the policies each of the parties are offering in the areas that concern you the most. Okay? So mine's environment and mine's military. Those are my two big things. Um, Housing, yes, the governments need to step in, but at the same time, I can't tell a builder that he can only charge X amount for the house. So and that's more provincial. So this is going to give us as voters a chance to think and evaluate what the various parties are going to do. In the meantime, by doing what he did, it's going to give the Canadian people a chance to get to know the new leader, whoever he or she should be, a chance to get to know them and make their decisions based on that. Instead of the I hate Justin Trudeau, I can't stand him, that bitter, angry, every leader who's quit or retired has gone through it. Whether it's Mulroney, people were fed up and tired with him. They didn't want to see him anymore. Stephen Harper, same thing. Chrétien, same thing. Like, he's just, we get tired of seeing that face. And that's simple as that. So that gives us as the citizens a chance to get over Justin and start to focus on what the new leader of the Liberal Party has to offer and how they're presenting their views and the Liberal Party's views. Okay, so those were really the reasons. I'm happy that he did it. So we're taking it the next step. We know there is an election coming. Latest it can be is October of 2025, which is like 9 months away, guys. So as you're doing that, and as you're starting to look forward, as I've said before, and I beg you, please don't vote on habits. My in-laws were delightful. However, they voted, and nothing against conservatives here. They voted conservative because they'd always voted conservative. I can ask them about conservative parties policies. They had no idea. They just vote conservative. Why? I want to know why. And I was watching, it's called Beyond America, Canada Looking South, and it's a Canadian YouTuber. And his is much like mine. It's very uh, no, his is more political viewpoints and political chit chats and his political leanings, something like Stephen Boots. And he came out and said, I never ever connect myself to any of the parties. I never have. He said, I always look at their policies, the newest policies online, what they feel is going to best help. And then he votes for the party based on the policies they're laying out. And what he said, and I've also said, is when they put the policies out, that makes them have to be accountable. So if they are going to say, um, something Trudeau never was able to do, get around to doing, was reforming the electoral process, and they promised they're going to do it. By making that promise, that now makes them accountable. So he likes to see the policies. It decides which ones he likes or which one he's going to vote for. But then he said he can follow those policies like I do and see if the party follow through, if they are accountable to it. So I had to laugh because I feel like I'm the only one that's been saying this, but he has a problem with the Conservative Party right now because you can't find their policies, and he says that makes it so they don't have to be accountable because there's nothing for them to be brought accountable to. So if I sit there and tell my parents that I am going to supply calculators for every student in the class to be used in the class, I have to be held accountable. I have to produce those calculators. If I don't, then the parents have a right to be upset with me. So the same thing at the federal level. If we have parties that say we're going to do this and this, and then they don't even attempt to do it, they have failed in their promises. And he said that's what he looks for and watches. And he doesn't like Pierre Poilievre because he doesn't have policies, like I just said. But he said when you track his record isn't great. And I thought I was the only one that knew about it, but he had put forward a bill that passed the House, but didn't pass the Senate or the Supreme Court because it was seen as against the Constitution. And it was like, wow, that's the one thing you've done in the House of Commons, and it couldn't get past the House. It couldn't get past the Supreme Court. Like, okay, and that was his point. Is sort of what I'm saying too. Is that look to see what they're doing, look at their policies, look at their promises, so they can be held accountable. So that's a short one tonight. All I'm going to say again, and I've said it before, forget the fact that I'm a liberal. What I will say and always say, vote not because you always have voted that party. Vote because you feel those policies that they're offering and they're putting forward that you can track will be beneficial for you and beneficial for the people of Canada. And I am going to please stop the regionalism that is badly developing. I mean, it's always been not great. It's always been the West against the East, and the East against the far West, and Quebec against Ontario. I mean, we still have that petty. Quebecers love their Canadians, and the Southern Ontarioites love our Toronto Maple Leafs. So I'm a Southern Ontarioite that follows the Canadians. But okay, so we've always had that regional crap. But please, when you're looking at these policies, make sure that you feel in your heart as you're going to vote for them that they are going to be beneficial for the good of everybody. And in closing, to quote my brother-in-law, whom I can't stand, there's a couple of things I agree with him. He said he doesn't talk politics or complain about politics. He says, because I don't vote. He said, if you're not going to vote, you don't have the right to complain about what the government's any level does. There you go. So keep your eyes open. Start watching the news to see how the different policies are developing. I will pick a couple of policies, the ones that are important to me. Military is one, obviously. Environment's another. Housing, because of what my poor kids are going through. And see if I can come up with policies to bring forward. Anyways, take care. Have a good night.